The United States has by far the most gun-related homicides of any developed country. We also have the most guns of any country, 112 per 100 people. While it is impossible to know the definite reason behind these numbers, many supporters of gun control argue that there is definite correlation between these statistics and that the increased homicide rate in the US could be greatly reduced by implementing more strict gun laws. However, we found that individuals who have a lot of knowledge and experience surrounding guns disagreed with the supposed correlation between these statistics and that there are other reasons behind our increased gun-related homicide rate. Studies seem to agree with them. The government conducted a survey of inmates in state and federal correctional facilities and found that among inmates who possessed a gun when they committed their crime, only 11% had purchased the gun at a pawn shop, retail store, or gun show. Meanwhile, 37% had gotten it from a friend or family member, and another 40% obtained their gun from the black market or by stealing it. Mass shootings have become a huge issue in the US and the subject of a lot of controversy in recent years. Just since 2011, the rate at which these mass shootings occur in the US has tripled. Proponents of gun control point to the fact that mass shootings rarely happen in other countries due to their strict gun control. However, our interviewees suggest alternate reasons for these shootings.
Process for obtaining a firearm?
For obtaining a firearm, obviously it has to be usually purchased through a legalized dealer, gun shop, other owner. Proper paperwork has to be exchanged. Once the firearm is purchased, it has to be registered with your local police department. There may be a short exam relating to firearms, and you also have to take a CPL class for concealed pistol license. So there may be a testing and some other things that need to be done.
Alright, and do you know, has the process changed recently?
Not that I'm aware of. Not to say it hasn't changed in the last several years, but it's pretty standard.
Okay. And then the United States has by far the highest firearm-related homicide rate of any developed country. And do you think this is primarily due to our more relaxed firearm laws in relation to other countries? Or is there another reason behind these?
To be honest with you, I don't think it has to do with the number of people that own firearms legally. People that are bad guys, they're going to get their guns no matter what, whether it's legally, and more than likely it's going to be illegally that they get their firearms to commit their crimes. So I don't think the amount of firearms that are or they're registered really has any effect, because bad guys are bad guys, and they're going to do what they need to do and get the guns any way they can.
Okay, and should automatic or semi-automatic firearms be legal to purchase? And if yes, then what's the reason behind owning one?
In my opinion, absolutely, because the people that are purchasing these firearms are doing it the right way, kind of opposite of my last answer.
Yeah.
They're going to be doing it for the right purposes, protect their families, for recreation, going to ranges, things of that nature, hunting, whatever it may be. So yeah, I mean, in my opinion, anybody that is going to do it the right way should be able to purchase firearms, and it's the Second Amendment, so absolutely.
And recently, mass shootings in the United States have become a pretty big issue.
Mm-hmm.
What methods do you think would be most effective in preventing these shootings?
In my opinion, it is mental health issues is a big majority. I just watched a debate yesterday. We were talking about how mental health in this country, and they're closing down all the clinics and the facilities to deal with that. So if you find out, other than some of the ISIS stuff that San Bernardino that just happened, and the radicalism, other than that, the majority of it's a mental health issue.
So firearms are pretty easy to access. Do you think there should be more like mental health tests before?
I would say yes. That would be preferential if you could do that. But what's to say that I meet you and that you don't have issues doesn't mean that everyone's batting off the walls and getting crazy. But people that have mental issues, how are you going to be able to tell that? So that's where it gets difficult, because you don't want to say, no, you can't. What kind of test can you give? And are you going to have enough money to come up with testing for everybody in the country that purchases a firearm? So that's where it can be real tricky and difficult.
I see. And how does the easy access that citizens have to firearms affect law enforcement? And, for example, the training you have to go through or the precautions you have to take when doing your job?
In my 25 years, it has changed, because now they have what we call the open carry, which is people can carry guns. You may have seen them, can walk into stores, and they have, kind of like me right now. Yeah. And then you also have the concealed as well, concealed pistol licenses. So technically pretty much anybody out there that's of legal age that doesn't have a felony conviction could carry a firearm. So that in itself, just the numbers are a lot greater than they used to be. So who knows what's going to happen? Legislation changes all the time. We have new presidents coming in, here next year, so who knows what's going to happen with the Senate and everything else as far as gun laws, because I know gun control is a major issue as well. So we'll just have to see what happens, and as of right now, we just deal with it the best we can, and we're finding more and more weapons are out there, people have guns on them, when we're making traffic stops and stuff. So it is more prevalent than it was, say, 15, 20 years ago.
The United States has by far the most guns per capita of any country. And do you think society would be safer if they owned more or fewer guns?
Once again, if people are doing it for the right reasons, kind of like I answered before, I mean, if people have it, they want to protect my family. Someone breaks in here, I want to be able to protect myself and my kids, or, hey, I like target shooting, I like doing this and that. Then, like I said, good luck to them, and absolutely, that's the right to do that. Now, on the other hand, like I said, also, is you have guys that are using for, purposes, conducting criminal activity, then obviously that's something of concern.
Firearms have you collected?
Handguns, shotguns, and a couple just rifles. I mean, more of historic significance than really useful. It's more of just fun shooting.
Mm-hmm. What licenses, permits, or certifications have you had to acquire in order to legally obtain all of your firearms?
I didn't have to get certification, but I had a friend that taught me how to shoot and safety and proper handling of guns and techniques. And then when I bought handguns, I had to just register them with the Northville Township Police.
How do you feel about the lengths that you've had to go to acquire these firearms? And do you think that the necessary permits and licenses should be more strict or more laid back?
I think they should just enforce the ones they already have. Law-abiding people tend to go through and follow all the paperwork and procedures.
Mass shootings in the United States have become a huge issue in recent years. What methods do you think would be most effective in preventing these shootings?
Well, one is, I think, gun-free zones is a joke because criminals don't follow them. So if they want to go and attack something and make a big news story, the easiest place to go to would be a gun-free zone because no one's going to be able to defend themselves. Mm-hmm. So that and the news, they make it almost like, so if somebody wants to get attention and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get that attention, then all they got to do is cause a issue like shooting a school up, and then now everyone knows their name and they're kind of like Jesse James, or they got the attention they wanted, whether it's good or bad.